Hi, good morning, everyone. Lisa, thanks for joining me. Okay, my name is May Chong, and I will be your host for today. The topic for today's discussion is about the remote HR, on how leaders in HR address the issues about the working from home environment and how can we engage with our employees remotely. Today, I have the pleasure of having Lisa Leong, the head of HR for AXA Partners, joining us today. Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us.
Thank you, May. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay. We have a few questions to put forth to you today. Okay. Amanda, can you just go to that slide? Okay. So the first point of discussion, right? How does working remotely impact your employee morale?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, May, for this invitation. Happy to be able to talk to the audience today. Happy to discuss on the point as well because we have been in this COVID situation since 2 years back, yeah?
Oh my God, feels like since forever, right?
Yes, it's true. So how does this working remotely impact the employee morale? I will actually put it on these 4 bullet points. Very much on the people side of it is their mindset, how they actually change from being an office-based employee to now working from home. So this is challenge by itself because due to COVID situation, all the family members are at home, the children, the parents, and also their spouse. So everybody is fighting for a space to do their work at home at this moment. And also the second bullet point is on the platform, the IT infrastructure, whether how prepared we are as a company, how do we support them so they can do their work uninterrupted and they can also deliver the KPI. And at the same time, also our internet, the data plan that our employees have, whether it's sufficient enough to support them to do their work. This is another plan that we actually, throughout these 2 years, we are trying to support them and also to allow them some freedom in between their work to actually manage their personal life and their work life as well, so that there is a balance there. And also because of this remote working, a lot of processes need to be changed.
Correct.
So that we actually tweaking the process along the way because we do not know what they're going to face, how that they will be impacted. So that's the reason that we also look at our processes and we actually working to improve them so that they will not be impacted by it. The fourth thing is the national SOP that we have. When the COVID started, all the national SOP was so unclear whether it is going to happen in the next 1 day or next 3 days, and things keep changing. So it's quite difficult to do planning with them, but we try to minimize the impact towards them. We have actually come up with a guideline. We call it our policy guideline during this period, during the remote working, so that they are very clear what are the expectations from the company and their managers when they are working from home. So that actually reduces a lot of friction between the employees and the managers. These are the 4 bullet points actually that we're working for the last 2 years, and we've been improving it from month to month. I don't think that we ever get it perfect, but we are trying our best as an employer to support them during this time.
So it's just not about understanding their home working environment, but we also have to put in the processes and also how is the working relationship between the superior and also the subordinates. To smoothen the whole journey.
Yes. Correct. Yes.
This brings me to the second point of discussion, right? Okay. So, what are the things from a HR perspective or from the company perspective can do to engage with employees working remotely?
We have actually come up with a lot of activities. Yeah, the most important activity that we came out is we reintroduced our employee assistance program, where this is our counseling program that we have engaged a third party. We send the information to our employees. If they need to talk to somebody, they can go to our EAP appointed vendor. It's free of charge for them at any time, 24/7, so that they can get the attention that they wanted. So this is one of the program. The other program is very much, we have a calendar full of activities, fun activities. Is some sort like we have yoga, we have other sport activities, that they can do it, drawings. We have movie day. We have around 12 activities that they can do. We actually helping them to have some fun activities in between their setting, working from home. And of course, we have leaders who actually have virtual coffee with them, especially with the new joiners who join the company during this period. They don't see anybody during their virtual onboarding. Yeah. So this virtual coffee session with the leaders, giving the assurance that we are also paying attention to them, especially on the new joiners. And one very important topic is during this period, a lot of time when people think that when you don't see me, you've forgotten about me. So we have actually our reward and recognition. We actually give out a lot of rewards to them to encourage, to motivate them during this period.
I am so going to steal some of your ideas. I'm writing it all down already. Okay. In terms of the employee assistance program and the calendar full of fun activities, I love the idea of the leaders virtual coffee session, especially for the new joiners, so that you're able to engage with your new employees right off, at the starting point.
Yes.
Right? And the rewards and recognition program. So this brings us to the third point. Okay. Besides all the 4 activities that you are doing right now, okay, is there any other best practices that you would actually recommend for us fellow, HRians and also fellow employers?
I think very much about the engagement, the leaders to engage with the individual. We actually have what I always recommend to the leaders in my company is to have the one-to-one with the employee. Okay, that is very important because this will actually give them a the
sense of
belonging. Yes, the sense of belonging in the company. We have people, to be honest, we have people who broke down during this period, especially the young mothers that they need to manage the kids at this time. They have to take care of their family and they have the KPI to finish their work as well. We do encounter that the young mothers actually came to HR saying that they couldn't cope any longer. They have to chase around the house for the kids to study online. And at the same time, they have to do their work. The online study is no fun at all. Yeah, I do not know how the young mothers. I really appreciate and salute them because they have to make sure that their 5-year-old kids sitting and doing the online classes. Can you imagine a 5-year-old kid that can sit down for 1 hour in front of the PC and notebook? So a lot of times during meetings, especially my HR meeting, I quite relaxed with my team. My team members saying that if during our team meeting, if your children come and disturb you, ask them to join us. Because during all this call, the children are very curious, you see. They wanted to join in the call. So I will allow that. So this is something that I also encourage my leaders to actually to bring in the family, to the meetings or to have the one-to-one so that the children or the family won't feel left out. So it is not about the employee at this point, it's also about the family member. But of course, there are certain limits to this kind of activity as well. Yeah, I believe my employees, they are wise enough to know where is the boundary.
But sometimes, right, during this working from home, right, the boundaries between you at work and you are with your family, the line could be quite blurred at the same time,
I
right?
believe, yes, I believe in this sense, you need to establish the boundary with your manager. Like me, I told my bosses that I Saturdays I'm very busy with my family activities. If we need to have ad hoc meeting, I can do it on Sunday afternoon. So they know my limit, they know my boundary. When there is things coming on, crop up over the weekend, so I can be reached out on Sunday afternoon onwards. So I set the boundary with them. You know, for HR, a lot of national SOPs, national,
Yes, they
uh,
always launch it on a Friday, right? Okay.
yes,
Saturday evening on a Friday, like 3, 4
correct.
p.m. or 5 p.m., right? And
Mm.
then you have to scramble through a lot of different websites because all of these websites, even on the same policy, they're saying different things.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. That's the reason that I established this boundary, because I also wanted to give chance to everybody to come down, look at the policy, whether it's going to change again. Because a lot of time when the initial first year of COVID, right, we jump into straight and prepare a lot of things, but next day things change again. So we are giving 1 day cooling off period to see what changed. Then we come back on
So
Sunday
this
to
is
decide what to do.
so this is the lesson learned, right?
Yes,
From the
yes.
first 2 or 3 announcements. Okay, hi guys. Not. I'm sure that each and every one of you, or some of you, would have some questions that you wanted to ask Lisa Leong. Can you just key in your questions in the group chat, in the Zoom chat there, right? And I'll make sure that Lisa will answer your question before the end of this session. Okay. Lisa, back to you. Just now the question that I asked, right, is about setting boundaries between you and your leaders, right? How do you set boundaries within you? Because if you're working from home, right, we have a tendency. I realized that I work longer hours at home. Okay, I even work through my dinner time. Okay? So how do you set the boundaries for yourself so that you don't get burnout?
Okay, I understand where you're coming from, because the first year of remote working it is like literally I'm working 16 hours per day. So yeah, because it's like there is no clear cut off when
Yes.
you can be contacted via WhatsApp, via calls, via emails. And then as a person who are new to all this COVID situation, I wanted to actually tackle the situation as soon as possible. So I think over the 2 years, a lot of times I already set the boundary. I will finish at 6 as per the time set by the office hours. I'm going to start at 9, I finish at 6. I give a 2 hours or 3 hours break for myself. Then I'm going to open my laptop at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and I will do 1 hour. That's it. And I will not answer WhatsApp after 6 o'clock immediately. I will answer it during the 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night before I go to sleep. So these the 3 or 4 hours boundary that I set. It gave me downtime. It allowed me to actually prepare my family members for the day, for the dinners, for whatever that they want some attention from me. So this is the boundary I have set. But I only started it this year, yeah. So last year, like everybody else, I'm working like 16 hours, 18 hours to ensure that I have the SOP ready, ensure our people are being actually taken care of. I think not only me, I think a lot of HR leaders are doing in such manner. So I've tried to find a balance this year, because it's not sustainable to do that kind of long hours.
Especially at most times that you are by yourself, so you don't even have someone to be your sounding board physically, right?
I agree with you.
I felt that was so tough. That was so tough for me, right? Okay. So my last question for you for today is, Amanda, okay, anything to watch out for in regards to employee engagement?
I always tell my leaders this, whenever that they have team meetings, whenever they have any work-related meeting, they need to look out for symptoms. in the team meetings from their employees. Is there any symptoms that the employee are very stressed? Any symptom that they can see that the employees is they need to actually support them more when they see the work has been delayed. So I will say that increase your sensitivity by 10%. Then you'll be able to detect that. I normally will have randomly, on monthly basis, I will pick up my phone and call one of my employees to have just a simple chat with her. So I will just say, because I'm doing so frequently with my employee, they are not so shocked, that why do they get a call from their boss? So for them, that I say, I felt like talking to you today. How are you doing? Then we will talk everything, whatever that she wanted to talk about, and I wanted to share whatever I wanted to share. Very light moment. It's not really about work. It's about her family members, how she coping, then how the husband is doing, how the children is doing. That's the reason I get to know that the young mothers have to be made to do the online tuition to their people, to their employee children. Like have to get them to sit down for the 5 years old kid. I said, I do not know how that you can do that for 1 hour. So these kind of symptoms, the leaders need to find out. But they must create the bonding, the relationship with their employee. Because it's quite weird when you call out of the blue to find out, they will not open up to you. You must create the relationship. You must create the bonding with them. So and on off, I will send them gifts to my team members. I remember I spent not less than 5,000 in my first year, the first year of COVID, because I keep sending them gifts to ensure that they felt that they've been appreciated, they've been actually been taken care of. Although I don't see them physically, I just make sure that they know that I care about them and they can come to me at any time during this period. So that is what I'm doing. Like recently, I just found out one of my employees' family members is infected by COVID, and they are staying in the same home, and she cannot move out to another place. By chance only, when I call her, I say, "How are you?" She just burst out, and she's so very. So this kind of thing. You need to know when to trigger, what to trigger, to get the information to ensure everything is fine with her or him.
I think your last for your points for this question, right, is so pertinent, especially for people's manager. Okay, the first thing is that you have to increase your sensitive level at least by 10% to be more aware, right, of how your employees interact with you during the virtual sessions together. And then the second thing is that I really like it that you have to create the bond with your teammates, your subordinates, so that they will feel at ease to share their things with you. And then the third one is, of course, doing the temperature check, the mental health temperature check of your employees, right? Okay. I only have two things to say to you, Lisa, before I pass the floor to James. Number one, I'm going to send you my address so they can send this to me, then I will remember. And then second thing is that, thank you very much, Lisa, for spoiling market, 5,000 ringgit.
I believe the money is not important at this moment. It's just
it's the thought that counts. You know that once when they receive something, right? Each time when I receive something, right, I always thank them, but I receive your love because I know that you actually thought about me, and then you take this effort, right, to send something to me.
Okay.
I think this is a human connection point, that is so important, right? Especially during this time. Okay. During the first question that actually Lisa highlighted, right, she actually talked about creating the platform, the digital platform and processes to be put in place to ease the remote working. Okay, I'm going to invite James. James Wang is the lead implementer and also the lead implementer for Synergy Outsourcing Malaysia. He will be talking to us a little bit more in terms of platform and processes to be put in place, okay, to enable remote working better. James, over to you.
Okay. Hi, May. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for that discussion. Hi, everyone. So today I will be discussing another solution currently provided by Synergy Outsourcing Malaysia. So here at Synergy, we actually specialize in assisting our colleagues in HR with technology to overcome, the challenges that May and Lisa have been, discussing during this entire pandemic. So, as mentioned earlier by Lisa and May, a lot of HR work during the pandemic has become highly dependent on technology and the Internet of Things because they are forced to work remotely. As such, today I will be demonstrating a few key features we use here at Synergy. So Amanda, can you move to the next slide? So these features will actually help our HR colleagues with remote employee engagement and management. So as you can see here, one key aspect of our solutions is the Great Day mobile application. This application comes with many features like the standard e-attendance, e-leaves, claims, overtime, and many other features that we will assist HR and managers in engaging their employees. Right, so this is the Great Day mobile application. So first things first, we will actually have this company feature. So here you can actually view all your teammates and actually communicate to them. So for example, if I want to communicate to one of them, I can actually go in and assign tasks to them as well, start a chat with them. So I can actually have a connection with them, and as Lisa mentioned, one of the most important things is actually to reach out to these employees and do a as May described, temperature check, mental temperature check. Okay. Other than that, we can also actually see our company informations and announcements. So companies like AXA is able to basically broadcast their activities here, like if they want to organize a virtual coffee break or organize a yoga session, you can use this feature over here to communicate to your employees remotely. Now, other than this, of course, employees are able to clock in remotely using this application and can actually do task assignments. So what I mean by task assignments, right, is because one other challenge I find that a lot of managers and also HR, they're having very hard time trying to communicate these tasks and KPIs to their employees. So here under tasks and feedback, you're actually able to assign tasks, example here, to your IT, to your different operations staff, find out how they are doing. Okay, I think it's a bit laggy. All right, so here you can see, here is the a IT support case that is assigned to one of the staffs. Now, on top of this, you can actually staffs are actually able to do what we call activity recording. Here, you are actually able to monitor what is the progress of the work done by your staff. So, for example, based on the task I assigned to Michelle, I'm able to see she has actually conducted a remote IT assistance. And she will actually be able to provide me with screenshots of the issue, as well as where the issue was located at. Okay, I think it's a bit laggy here.
It's good, James. It's
good, huh?
It's good.
All right. Okay. So next is, of course, other than all this, we have our traditional ESS employee self-service features, such as e-leaves. So, example, if your employees want to apply for a leave request, they can do it through the mobile application. And similarly, employees are actually able to approve their subordinates' leaves in the application. So, example over here, I can actually view, the approvals, the leave request that requires my approval, and as well as the details of the leaves. This extends to not just leave requests, but also, claim requests, overtime requests, as well as attendance requests. Okay. Now, moving back to this. Okay, so moving back to Amanda. Okay, so apart from all these features, Amanda, can we move on to the next slide? All of our partners enjoy access to the professional payroll services provided by Synergy, currently powered by Sunfish, a very powerful cloud HRIS solution. So all these features are included in the Sunfish package. So we have company and employee management, time and attendance management, claims and expenses, and payroll management. And I think that is all for my demonstration. I'm sure some of you will have some questions, so please write them down for the Q&A session later. Thank you, everyone, and I will now pass the floor back to May.
Thank you, James. Thank you so much. Right. I'm going to put forward the first question to you, James.
Yep.
Right.
Hi.
What is unique about your product? What is the most unique selling proposition for your product?
I would say the most unique thing is, our payroll services is powered by technology. So it is a cloud-based solution, which is quite different from traditional solutions, because cloud-based solutions, you are able to access the system anytime, anywhere. And very different from traditional HRIS solutions, because more traditional HRIS solutions will require things like investments into servers. You have to install the program directly on your devices. Being a cloud solution, it actually removes all these requirements and actually helps with a lot of remote work.
We have a question from one of our participants. She is actually, the question is actually from Alison. She is the head of HR for a association, a global association, right? Her question is, how can mobile apps support the new norm of working remotely?
Okay. So as everyone here, I'm sure has a mobile phone right now. I mean, a smartphone with them. As you know, mobile applications are like the new norm. So with this mobile application provided by Synergy, the employees are able to directly access their tasks, and managers will actually be able to manage employees better with assigning assignments, or viewing their leave schedules, as well as managing their employees using the visibility provided by the mobile application.
Alison, I hope that he have actually. Okay. In terms of the HRS, is a cloud-based. How secure in terms of data confidentiality? That is a very good question, Alison.
Okay. Yes. One concern many of my clients have is actually this, which is in terms of data confidentiality and also security. So for Synergy, we are actually PDPA compliant, and we also have a certification in ISO 9001 and ISO 27001, which means we deliver very high levels of quality assurance. So on top of all this, we actually host the service ourselves, and we have, of course, a disaster recovery plan, and also team working around the clock to ensure that the service is always maintained, and the data is secured at all times.
Thanks, James. Right. My next two questions, right, is for me to grill Lisa Leong. Okay. I'm prepared on what I want to grill you is that. My first question, just now you have actually spoken in terms of the temperature check between an employer, between a manager and the subordinates, right? But what is your advice for the employees themselves? How do they manage their own emotion and all the challenges that you have when you're working remotely from home?
I always tell, especially my team members, take a break. When things are a bit too much already, tell the manager, I need some time off. Give me 30 minutes, give me 1 hour. I will come back to you and set the boundaries. When are your availability? If you have certain period during the working hours that you need to attend to your family matters during this period. You need to have this discussion with your manager so that you have the understanding of the manager, and the manager would not expect differently from you during that period. So this will give you some ease of mind as well that, okay, I already informed my manager I'm going to deliver the work like 1 hour later. Or if you cannot meet up the timeline that's set by your manager, you must be upfront that the expectation need to change, because now when you are working remotely, there is a lot of dynamic that you need to take care of, not only work. So the setting of the boundary is very important with your manager. The time management, you must know your environment. You must know when is the time that you can take the stress, when you cannot, when it's already been too much. So you need to raise the flag itself. So I always tell my the managers and my people as well, raise the flag when you couldn't cope. Everybody will come and support you. So it's not your battle alone, it's a battle of everybody in the company to support you as well. So this is the thing that I always tell leaders, don't be shy. Tell your people that they can raise the flag to them, or they themselves can raise the flag. I cannot cope 20 people working from home and have to meet the timeline, because when they are in the office, their focus is in the office. When they are working this new norm, there is a lot of dynamic. Then suddenly you need to think where that you need to bring in the lunch, where you have to come in with the tea. All that will actually disrupt your working life, you see. And when you are working from office, sometimes when you have face-to-face discussion, you solve things easily, faster.
Correct, and then it's quicker, right?
Yes. So when you are working from home, you're only looking at the screen, and sometimes when you try to call your other colleagues for their input, they might not be there for you. So you need to factor all this, and you need to set the expectation with your managers as well. That actually will avoid a lot of burnout, a lot of stress, and strained relationship between the employee and the managers. Is that answering your question, May?
Yes. But I realized that I work with a group of youngsters and everything, and I realized that they have actually this one characteristic. They have the idea, right, that when I reach out to someone, I'm kacauing that person. You know, when I ask for time, I'm disturbing that person, because I don't know whether that person, the person that I want to reach out for, is that person free to talk to me or not. So they will always try to solve all their issues and whatever things that they are facing by themselves. And by the time they reach out already, right, it's like stage 4 cancer already. You know what I'm saying? They cannot bear it.
I know what you're saying.
Right. Okay. So what would
correct.
advice for them?
It's very much that this pandemic is new to everyone. Yeah. So there's a lot of communication goes to them that with our EAP program, with our fun activities, we are telling them, come join us. It's not, we are not going to penalize you. We understand the situation. We're going to support you. And no matter what you bring up to us, there is a solution. So, and then I always tell my managers is that try and give a call to them, have teams, have one-to-one with them to understand them during this situation. Even sometimes, I'm a head of HR in Malaysia. I get a call from my regional boss on weekly basis. We have our weekly basis meeting. Sometimes we just talk about COVID situation only. Nothing about work, because I tell him I don't have anything to talk about work anymore, because I'm talking to him on weekly basis, you see. So we talk about the situation in Malaysia, how the COVID doing, how Malaysia can return to office, is there any challenges that everybody working from home. Of course, we don't see each other that much compared to previously. So all this doesn't really need to have very much work-related topics to talk about. Have this casual discussion or talk with your employees. It's normally with my regional boss. I don't talk very long, 15 minutes, 30 minutes in a week. As simple as that. We can talk anything. Then we can talk about the weather. We can talk about my family members, how I cope, what is my latest food that the durian season.
Yes.
So we talk about that, a lot of topics that we can talk about that not related to work. So there is no prejudice there during this time. I think he wanted to make sure that I'm okay.
That's so sweet of him, right?
Yes. So he did that to everybody in his team. So I think it must come from the top. When the top care about the employees, then it will cut it down to the employee itself.
I think that is so true. Certain cultures, right, for the organization, you always have to start from the top. Because if the top don't, it's actually leadership by example. This is a true case of leadership by example, right? Okay. I have the next question from the participants is, this question is addressed to you, Lisa. In terms of EVP, employee value proposition, right? Okay. In terms of sustainability, how do you manage it during this pandemic period?
Okay. For the employee, for the EVP, for the employee, a lot of the fun activities. One thing that I always tell my people, you do with the minimum effort, but get the maximum
max.
Yes. Max out the benefit. Correct. Yes. So a lot of things that we're doing, like moving night. Then we have all the yogas, the exercise. We actually went to YouTube to look for all the videos. So it is not that created by us, but we actually went to see in the market in YouTube what are the free videos that we can actually get it, and we will play it. And you won't believe in yoga, normally people exercise, right? But my people are busy chatting at the chat box. Hey, this is very difficult to do it. I've been telling them, how come you all can chat? You're supposed to do it the yoga. No. This is the first time I'm doing it. I wanted to see how to do it. So it's nice to see the interaction among the employees. So it doesn't need to be HR to actually create the program itself. There's a lot in YouTube. I always encourage my people to go to YouTube to find out all the nice videos, the motivational videos, then all the fun activities, and we just play the video during that time.
Just spend time to play.
Need to do it. Correct. But the only time that we need to do is to organize it. To make sure that the topic that they want to, they are interested to, we actually ask them, what do you want to do? We have actually 13 or 15 activities for this month, which the top 3 that you want us to actually execute. So we actually run a survey with our employees, then they will tell us, then we will play, and then we actually have a lot of free videos in YouTube. We actually fetch it to them. This is our top 20 selection by HR, which is your top 3 that you wanted to play for the month. So they actually responded, and we actually play the video with them, and we have a very good time. So we involve them in the process of doing that.
I have another question, right? I have another question that actually quite similar to this, right? Okay. This question was asking you about the EVP, sustainable EVP, right? My next question to you that is actually quite related from remote working is that what is the biggest change in your HR policy, okay, to counter the work from home environment?
Our biggest change of policy is very much about the ratio working from office and working from home. We used to have everybody must come to office. Yeah, it must be face to face. Everything must be face to face. If you want to have meeting, you must have face to face meeting. Breakout, you must have face to face meeting. But now we have embraced that we don't need you to have physically in the office. As long as you have Teams, as long as you have a good internet broadband, we actually can run any session with you at any time that you schedule. So this is
any place.
Yes, at any place. This is the biggest shift. Yeah, this is the biggest shift to my employees. Yeah, sometimes they say, "Do I look good in video?" Sometimes they have that kind of mentality. Do I look good? Do I sound better in video? How do I present? I do not know how to present over video because last time I just go to the board, I just sketch it. I want this. I just sketch the diagram and get it done. Now they have to change their thinking, how they're going to do their work in this remote way. This is a bigger shift for us. And we also realize we don't really meet all the people in the office at one time. So that is, and we also, with the social distancing that we need to do, we cannot have 100% of people in the company. So a lot of things that we started to realize that certain things that we don't need the employee to travel 1 hour to come to office to do the work. Now they can save the 1 hour and do more productive way, work, you see.
From home, right?
Correct, yes.
This is actually very good, because this goes to the next question, right? From another participant is, right, do you foresee, even after post-COVID, the working from home would actually be a new norm?
Actually, for AXA Partners, we actually come up with a new model. We call it smart working. It's actually launched by, it's actually launched by our global HQ, that all countries need to adopt smart working. But it gives us the flexibility to determine the ratio that we wanted. How many people that come to office, how many people work from home, and what function is feasible to work from office and what function is feasible to work from home. So this is the COVID situation has actually made this easier for HR to implement the work from home.
To push for this, right? It's really a game changer, right?
Correct. It actually push us to look at digitalization as well, how to move to IT solutions, better IT solutions to support to our employees to work from home. So they need to have a robust IT system there. Our IT infrastructure, our software, everything has to be robust. And also we also encourage our employees, if they have problems with their internet, they actually can come to us to ask for the data plan from us. We give them dongle that we actually purchase from the telco. This is something new to us, but we are willing to invest because this is a long-term solution. It's not only now, and our IT infrastructure has been improved the last 2 years because of this pandemic. It's a very good push. COVID is not a good thing, but it's actually there is a blessing in disguise. We're getting a lot out of the COVID situation as well. During this time, our IT infrastructure is better. The employees have a better flexibility, how that they manage their work. The expectation and the sensitivity of the managers has been better. The employee engagement is better. They know the employee at what time that the employee are able to cope with the situation or they cannot cope with the situation. I felt that the managers come to HR no longer about, Lisa, what is the calculation of OT? How do I calculate it previously during the normal time? But this time, the managers come to HR asking for advice. I have this employee, this problem. How do we solve it? How do we make sure that we don't have attrition? How to make sure that they can cope with the whole situation? It's very much at the relation-based topic. What that we can support them from emotional perspective, rather than very, very much technical way that we felt that you just attend HR training, you will get all the knowledge already. but this human touch is something that a lot of managers, the soft skills that they need to embrace. There is no way of not embracing this moving forward. The care for the employees.
It's so ironic. I think it's so timely because you are talking about care and also in terms of building connection with your employees, right? The next question is that trust is based on perception. It must be earned and led by example. How did you manage this, especially working remotely when you're not able to have personal touch?
Okay. I always go back to how do the managers approach the employees? What kind of bonding has been created? How that they can actually solidify that relationship and the trust and when the employee goes to them that they cannot meet the KPI, what is their first reaction to the employee? Are you going to penalize the employee, or are you going to listen to the employee? What went wrong and how to resolve the situation with the employees? So it is, I believe, how that we manage the situation. At certain time, it's not about what anymore. It's how that we engage them, and the why behind why the situation happened. So we need to answer all these questions before we penalize the employee. Because it's no fun when you have your spouse working from home, you have your children at home. I have one employee, very, very good high flyers in the company. But because of his family background, came from a poor family, he's staying in flat. Yeah, all the...
which is a smaller, a more cramped environment.
Correct, the lowest cost flat, yeah. So the moment I have discussion with this employee because of certain situation, behind his background, I can hear children running at the corridor.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't really have a very good conducive environment space to do his work during this time because of the cramped situation. So these are the employees who actually will suffer during this long period of remote working. So the solution is always we find a suitable time with the manager when that he can deliver his work. He said that Lisa and his manager, at that time, I don't have problem to deliver my work at 8 o'clock onwards at night when everybody already but he deliver when the expectation has been set. So he deliver his job. He worked until quite some time, but he catch up on his sleep during daytime. So we change his shift pattern, you see. Yes. So we change his shift pattern that he actually have a night shift. Then he starts to do his work and he has his morning time to take the break. So we need to understand our employee. Different employees have different situations, different
challenges and also circumstances, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So your advice is that just to be a little bit more mindful about the situation and to see if there's any out-of-the-box solutions that we can actually present it to the said employee to address the issues of working from home. And this is one of the best way that I can think of in order to build trust and relationship.
Yes. You need to talk to your employee. There is no two way about it. You must have that dialogue.
Lisa, I can really visualize you right in your management meeting, in your senior exco meeting, right? You are telling to everyone on the table, you need to talk to your employees. You need to be aware. Just increase your sensitivity by 10%. Reach out to them. I can hear you banging these thoughts, right? This mantra into your senior management team head.
Actually, I'm quite lucky in that sense. My senior management team, especially my CEO, he always have his one-to-one with his top leaders, the EXCO members. He has set his calendar even before COVID. He will talk to us to understand any topics, and he just a WhatsApp away, because he's a Japanese. He came here alone, without his family member. So if you wanted to talk to him, you just ask for his availability. Can I talk to you about this topic, whatever topic that he will actually oblige. That I always said it must come from the top. This culture must start from the top. You cannot push it down if you don't get trust, you don't get the buy-in from the top management. There is no way. This culture must start from the top.
Must start from the top, right? And I'm good. I have this odd question about the system, right? But they asked me to address the question to you, Lisa, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Let me go back to the question first, right? This question is addressed to you by one of the participants. How does using the HRIS system complement with handling work from home environment situation?
Okay, for us using that tool, we have actually features in our HRIS system that we know where the employee is whether that day they are working from home or they are working from office. They are default setting for our shift staff. We normally put them. They are at this point. Everybody is working from home. You see, so our default setting is working from home. If that day they come to office, they just change the setting working from office. And at the same time, in the system, if they wanted to work elsewhere, not at home or in the office, or they wanted to work at some cafe, they just need to type they are working at cafe, so that the manager knows how to reach to these employees, and they might not have certain document to handle for that day if they are working somewhere else. So the HRIS actually help us to understand where they are, and also we not only have the HRIS to support us, we also have the telephony system who support us during this time, so that we actually know where the employee is and what is the bandwidth, you see, that the employee have during that day. If let's say, our national school, sometimes they open, sometimes they close. Certain mothers, they are telling the leaders, can I just go and send my children for 1 hour? I do not want to take leave because the announcement sometimes come very ad hoc.
Correct.
Because the rostering been done like a month before the scheduled shift, you see. So the young mothers, we giving them some flexibility in the sense that if they have this ad hoc, they can actually tell us, can I get some time off to send the children? I allow my employees to do that, but they actually, when you win the trust, you give that 1 hour to them, they actually repay more than the 1 hour back to you. That I always seen in my employees.
So that has always been your experience, lah.
Yes, that always been my experience. Even myself, during my younger days, I remember I have a manager who sit in Singapore. So I'm sitting in Malaysia. She managing me out of Singapore. On certain days, I just tell him that today I'm so tired. Can I go back at 3 o'clock? She knew that I had put in so much effort for that project. She said that go and get a cup of coffee and go home after that. The coffee is on me, Lisa.
Oh.
But because of his one coffee, I didn't go back at 3, I go back at 10 midnight. So that's me, I believe because of my personal experience, you see, that I know that HRIS help us to track where the employee is and what they are doing, but there is always only a reporting. Yeah,
correct.
But there are other soft elements that we need to throw in to our employees. And HRIS also help us in terms of us taking care of the other welfare of theirs. Is some sort their leave, when they wanted to apply their leave, they don't need to do paper and pencil anymore. It's through cloud. They actually submit to us directly. And the best part about it, during this period, we actually pushing a lot of our employees to take leave. They're not taking their leave because they're at home. So so the tool is giving us a benchmark how well our employees taking care of themselves, that we actually send them to go on leave. And my company is so kind. Only recently we have a healthy you campaign to ensure our employees their well-being being taken care of. Our HQ actually launched a 2 days free leave for this year. We can actually, to every employee, including our contractors, be given 2 free additional leave today due to pandemic. We can use it up to next year March.
Okay. So they actually extend the validity of the leave.
Not extend, it's on top of our leave.
Okay.
We given 2 days on top of our leave to be utilized to all employees, regardless of any level you are. So we also have healthy day campaign that we're actually using the system to launch it to our employees to make sure that they understand that we care about them. So all these we are using a lot of tools to actually support us to do this remote working, to ensure that we have the reporting that we want. We have to measure the productivity that we have. We actually connect it to our IR system, our phone system. that we actually put in the productivity of our agents to the HRIS system, and for them we can measure the productivity during this period. For the last 2 years, what are the productivity that we have? So the HRIS is the HRIS that we actually adopting is very, very robust. It gives us, especially it gives HR data, you see, that we can analyze, we can actually come up with our proposal and to mitigate, to improve our system, to improve our policies. That data is important, that we're able to get from the tool itself.
Okay. Thanks, Lisa. Thank you very much. That's all the time that we have for today. James, thank you so much for inviting both Lisa and I to this session. Okay, and I hope to catch up with you, Lisa, as soon as possible for our cup of coffee.
Sure, thank you.
This video will be posted in Synergy Outsourcing YouTube channel. I think maybe this week or by next week. This week or next week. So I will encourage each and every one of you just to check out Synergy Outsourcing YouTube channel, to subscribe, and then and if any one of you I realize that there are some questions that we are not able to address it. Okay, I will try to harass Lisa to give me some answers, and I'll put it in the comment in the YouTube channel. Okay, thank you everyone. Bye. Take care and take care.